Welcome back to the Deep Dive. Today, we've gone through the sources on, well, one of the most recognizable figures in modern transformation literature, Julian Mantle.
That's right.
And I have to say, if you're wrestling with the intense pressure of professional life, this deep dive is really for you.
It is. I mean, Julian Mantle was the absolute definition of having it all. He was this superstar attorney making a 7-figure income.
Right.
He had a private jet, a spectacular mansion, and of course that famous bright, shiny red Ferrari.
Yeah.
By any external measure, he was just winning.
Absolutely winning. But the sources show this really frightening contrast. He was only 53, but he looked so much older.
Oh, completely worn down.
Yeah, physically wasted, spiritually just exhausted.
Yeah.
Totally consumed by that take no prisoners professional aggression.
And it all came to a head.
The ultimate price for that life came due right in the middle of a courtroom, a massive heart attack.
And that moment, collapsing in front of his peers, that wasn't just a physical failure. It was like a shocking rupture of his inner core. Yeah.
And what he did next was just as dramatic. Julian sold everything, the jet, the mansion, the Ferrari, quit his job, and just took off.
A radical spiritual journey to the Himalayas.
Exactly.
So our mission today isn't just to, recap the plot of the monk who sold his Ferrari. We're here to analyze the structure of this story through two really powerful lenses.
Right.
First, we're looking at it as an archetypal pattern of redemption, this sort of universal template for change.
And second,
we're digging into its relevance for, modern existential problems and this whole philosophy of minimalism.
Precisely. The story is at its heart the classic exploration of that universal human quest for meaning, for purpose, in a world that's just obsessed with material stuff.
It really speaks to that crisis of modern civilization, doesn't it? That feeling of being so busy, but at the same time so spiritually hollow.
We want to pull out the specific practical wisdom Julian brought back and see how you can actually apply it, even if you don't sell your house. Okay, so let's unpack that initial crisis. Julian was just driven by this relentless, endless hunger for more.
More prestige, more glory.
And definitely more money. The sources are clear that nothing ever satisfied him. He ended up with, severe social alienation and just profound self-estrangement.
He is the ultimate shadow figure for the overworked professional. He represents that modern paradox,
Which is what?
The relentless pursuit of external wealth leading directly to, internal bankruptcy. His lifestyle was so unbalanced, so chaotic, that the heart attack was basically his soul screaming for help.
And that collapse, that's the trigger for what the sources call this archetypal pattern of redemption.
Yeah, it's an ancient idea. You see it in literature and spiritual traditions all over the world. It's this fundamental process of moving from a state of ill-being to well-being.
And it has a structure, right? A 3-stage structure.
It does. The first stage is absolutely crucial. The pre-redemptive process. This is the crisis. It's the consequence of living a life that's just fundamentally out of alignment.
So for Julian, it was the heart attack.
The catastrophic heart attack. He was lost. He was restless, profoundly unhappy. The crisis is always the necessary wake-up call.
And what separates a complete breakdown from a real breakthrough is the second stage, the redemptive process. This needs a conscious choice.
A proactive response. Most people, when a crisis hits, they just double down on their old bad habits.
But not Julian.
No, Julian made a radical, complete pivot. He finally acknowledged that his lifestyle was the disease, and he changed his life's direction entirely.
So his decision to shed all his possessions and seek out the sages of Savannah wasn't just him running away.
Not at all. It was a quest for what philosophers like Heidegger call an authentic mode of living. He was trying to reclaim himself from all that noise and expectation. That conscious choice, that difficult surrender, is the engine that powers the whole transformation.
Which brings us to stage 3, the post-redemptive process, the transformation itself.
Right.
When he came back, he was just joyful, spontaneous, radiant. He looked younger.
He was no longer trading his spirit for his spreadsheet. He had finally discovered his real self, the true meaning of his existence.
And the key insight here is that the external world, the courtrooms, the business at SAR, that all stayed the same. But Julian's perspective on it changed completely because of that conscious choice he made.
He went on what the sources call a personal odyssey of the self, finding out who he truly was before his ambition just consumed him.
And that need to surrender, that brings us right to the core philosophy here, minimalism. Selling everything was this immediate, drastic, countercultural choice.
It was a choice against the very materialism that had nearly killed him, and we really have to correct a common misconception about minimalism.
It's all about deprivation.
Exactly, like living in a stark, empty room. Julian's journey shows it's not about lacking things. It's a focused mindset. It's a conscious choice to get rid of the excess so you can focus intensely on purpose and meaning.
Just eliminating distractions. And think about the benefits our sources outline. When you reduce your possessions, you immediately cut down the time and energy you spend organizing, maintaining, worrying about stuff.
Which lowers your financial burden.
And, critically, it creates so much mental space. This kind of intentional living gives you real freedom.
This is why his 7-figure income is totally irrelevant. Wealth is never the factor in minimalism. It's a mindful choice of consciously choosing right over simply having more.
So by simplifying your external world, you create the quiet you need for inner growth, for real reflection.
Exactly. You get clarity about your personal mission, not the one society gave you.
But wait a minute. I mean, selling everything and moving to a hidden Himalayan oasis. This sounds pretty extreme.
It does.
How does that message translate to someone who, still has a mortgage and a commute?
And that's where the struggle to let go becomes so critical. Julian had to relinquish control, especially that financial and status-based control. And to illustrate how hard this is, the sources use a really profound analogy.
The monkey trap.
The monkey trap.
I love this metaphor. It's so visceral. Can you explain how it works for our listener?
It's actually a very simple, ingenious device. A peanut, the reward, is put inside a bottle with a neck that's too narrow for a monkey's clenched fist to get through.
Okay.
So the monkey reaches in, it grabs the peanut, and it clenches its fist around that reward.
And the monkey, even when it sees danger coming, refuses to let go of that tiny, immediate reward, the peanut. And so it stays trapped. It loses its ultimate freedom.
It perfectly mirrors the human condition, doesn't it?
Yeah.
We cling so tightly to financial worries, to status, to those perceived securities.
With peanut.
The peanut. And that clinging is what keeps us from experiencing true freedom and peace. Julian had to let go of his death grip on his symbolic peanut, the Ferrari, the prestige, to gain something infinitely greater.
Trust, peace, spiritual freedom.
The inability to surrender is just the limitation of your capacity for peace.
So that ultimate act of surrender, selling the Ferrari, is what led him to Savannah, that hidden mountain oasis. And I think it's important we stress that Savannah isn't just a place on a map. It's a metaphor, right? For inner peace, for awakening. It's the sanctuary we all need to build inside ourselves.
That's exactly right. It represents the space we create when we intentionally step away from that materialistic rat race and allow for deep introspection. And it's there that Julian learned the 7 timeless virtues of enlightened living.
This is the spiritual blueprint he brought back. And it's totally applicable to building your own inner Savannah.
It is.
Okay, let's slow down here. This is the deepest part of our dive. Let's go through these virtues one by one, focusing on how you can actually apply them.
Absolutely. The first virtue is master your mind, and it's symbolized by the garden.
A garden.
Yes. Julian learned that the mind is fundamentally fertile. If you don't actively and consciously cultivate it with positive thoughts, with discipline, with nourishment, what happens in a garden?
Weeds take over.
Weeds take over. Negative thoughts, worries, anxieties, they just grow automatically.
So the practical application for this is visualization, which the sages call blueprinting.
Exactly. The idea that things are always created twice, first in the workshop of the mind and then in reality. Blueprinting means you spend dedicated time mentally rehearsing yourself performing at your absolute best.
So you're pre-wiring your brain for success.
You are. The second virtue is follow your purpose, and the symbol for that is the lighthouse. A lighthouse is a beacon. It represents a clear, focused life mission.
So this is about setting goals that reflect your true desires, not the goals your parents or your boss set for you.
Exactly. And Julian realized that the ultimate highest purpose of life is actually to serve something greater than yourself.
Okay, number 3, practice Kaizen. And the symbol is a sumo wrestler.
We often hear Kaizen translated as continuous self-improvement, but in this context, it's really about the discipline of the small daily win.
The 1% improvement.
The 1% improvement. The compound effect of getting just a tiny bit better every single day. Physically, intellectually, spiritually, it completely transforms your life within a year.
Which requires discipline. And that's the 4th virtue, right? Live with discipline, symbolized by a strong pink wire cable.
Right. It symbolizes willpower, inner strength. And discipline isn't punishment. It's the freedom to choose your actions over your impulses. You build it through daily routines, like getting up early to meditate.
Which shields you from distractions and builds real self-control,
It does.
which I guess connects to the next virtue. Respect your time.
Mm.
The symbol here is the gold stopwatch.
A very direct connection. Discipline gives you the strength to say no. Time is the only truly finite resource you have. It is your most precious commodity.
So the lesson is to prioritize high-value, meaningful activities and just ruthlessly eliminate the unnecessary stuff.
Because if you don't discipline your schedule, someone else will discipline it for you, and you'll just end up reacting to their demands instead of moving toward your own purpose.
The sixth virtue is the one that really seems to counter that alienation Julian felt. Selflessly serve others, symbolized by fragrant roses.
Yeah. The roses represent compassion, contribution. A life that's focused only on consumption leads to that emptiness Julian felt.
But a life of service, of kindness, enriches everyone involved.
It shifts your focus outward. It helps you build deep, authentic relationships, which are the true source of human joy. Not money, not prestige.
And finally, number 7, embrace the present. And the symbol is a path of diamonds.
My favorite one. We spend so much time cycling between past regrets and future anxieties that we just miss the only moment we actually have, which is now.
This virtue is like the capstone then.
It is. It's about practicing intense gratitude and mindfulness, savoring the simple moments. When you train your mind to live in the present, you unlock this boundless energy and you stop the corrosive mental waste of worry.
The sources really drive home a core principle from all this: the power of self-investment, setting aside time every single day for this inner work, for your garden, for blueprinting. That is the best investment you can ever make.
It's so practical, it's not mystical. To say you're too busy for this kind of work is like saying you're too busy driving to stop for gas.
You're going to skull out.
You're going to
Yeah.
stall out. Julian found that by allocating real time to consciously applying these principles, he completely transformed his reality. He cultivated that inner serenity that had completely eluded him before.
So the final takeaway for us seems clear. Julian's transformation highlights this stark contrast between huge external success and, well, profound internal depletion.
Mm-hmm.
His journey proves that true success isn't measured by possessions, that Ferrari became totally irrelevant, but by mastering yourself, living with purpose, and really nurturing your soul.
And it all starts with self-awareness.
Right. As Carl Jung famously said, who looks outside dreams, who looks inside awakens. Julian stopped dreaming of the next big case and started awakening to his own true potential.
And that awakening brings us back to the ultimate context the sages provided. They describe life itself as just a small blip on the canvas of eternity. The mission, then, is to make sure that your little blip is gorgeous.
A gorgeous blip. I like that.
So we should all be asking ourselves this essential question starting right now. Are we currently blueprinting a life of consumption and distraction, just chasing more and more? Or are we intentionally designing a radiant blip that glows with our highest purpose, even if it means we finally have to loosen our grip on that metaphorical